The Romulans had a base, known as the Vault, that they used for research into Borg technology. This facility was abandoned in the chaos after the destruction of the Romulan homeworld, but intelligence suggests that the work there was far enough along that it was used to retrofit Nero's ship before it disappeared along with Ambassador Spock's vessel in the Hobus system. Long-range sensors have detected energy spikes in the Halcona system, and Starfleet intelligence believes that someone is bringing the Vault back online. We need to know who, and more importantly, we need to know if there is still Borg technology. I need you to proceed immediately to the Halcona system and investigate the Vault. Engage if you must, but I would prefer if you could gather the information we need without conflict.
In order to avoid drawing too much attention, you need to fly under the radar, so to speak. Admiral Tenay has authorized the requisition of a shuttlecraft for you. You can fulfill the requisition in the shipyard. Once you're ready, take the shuttlecraft out to the Hakona system. If you have a runabout fighter or other such craft available, feel free to use it, but do not approach the system in a starship. We want to avoid the notice of whoever's in the vault. A shuttle will also be able to dock with the vault and explore the interior. Any questions? It's a calculated risk. That's part of the reason that we're sending a small craft. We don't want to provoke the Romulans by sending in a starship unless it's absolutely necessary. Any questions? What? Oh, that mythical boogeyman organization? No. This is a standard Starfleet operation at the behest of Admiral Tenay and supported by Starfleet intelligence. In case you were wondering, that means that you should observe all regulations and don't start a war. Any questions? Borg technology, Thalaron weapons like the ones used by Shinzon, cloaking mines, and heavy graviton beams? We're not entirely sure. That's why we need eyes inside. The station itself is near a micronebula and surrounded by a tachyon detection grid. Even a cloaked ship wouldn't be able to sneak in there. You should also expect automated defenses like turrets and cannons. We haven't spotted any ships in the vicinity, fortunately. Although with Romulan cloaking, anything is possible. Any questions? Starfleet will make sure to have a ship or two in range for a rapid response in case of emergency. Hopefully, though, you'll be able to keep things quiet and that won't be necessary. Of course, missions rarely go exactly as planned. Any questions? Very well. Remember, you must use a shuttlecraft, runabout, fighter, or similar small operations craft to undertake this mission. We need on-site intel from the interior of the vault. Starfleet will not clear you to enter the Hakona system otherwise. Good luck.
Starfleet intelligence has decoded the list of Riemann targets that you recovered from the vault. I need you to investigate one of these locations and determine why Obasek and his forces planned an attack there. The Vahar system is still technically part of the Romulan Star Empire, but Ferengi speculators have moved in, and the Empress has done nothing to remove them. The Ferengi have reopened the mines and are now doing business with anyone with Latinum. You will go to the Vahar system under the pretense of negotiating a possible trade agreement with the Federation. Talk to Madron, the operator of the mines. Convince him to allow you access. Find out all you can. Once we know why Obasek and the Riemanns are targeting these mines, then we will be able to decide how to proceed.
You've stuck your nose in our business for the last time, Starfleet. All ships, attack! Attack!
Core shields failing. Target shields have failed. Warning, ship is under attack.
This moon is private property. No solicitors, beggars, or Starfleet allowed.
Hello, my good friends. I'm so happy to meet you. Perhaps you are in the market for some high-quality magnesite? We have the finest ore in the quadrant. On behalf of the miners and residents here, I'm more than happy to welcome you to our home. Please transport to the surface. Unfortunately, the large amounts of extremely pure magnesite ore in the core of our little world will interfere with your sensors. For safety reasons, I must insist that you use the transporter signal enhancers that I have installed at my own expense. Also, I know you Starfleet types are so fond of your away teams, but could you please restrict the number of crew you bring down to the surface? My people here aren't used to strangers, and you wouldn't want to disrupt their work, would you?
Did you need something? It's a long story. After the destruction of Romulus, I joined a group of colonists looking for a new place to settle. We chose to form a new agrarian community, on Viranot, a pastoral world on the edge of Romulan space. Our colony was attacked and destroyed. I managed to evade the attackers and get off-world with a small group of people. My luck ran out here, and I've been stuck ever since. I'm a biochemist by trade. I specialize in hemocyanin, a division of hematology, working with copper-based blood. On Viranot, I handled a lot of issues related to food compatibility and local biochemistry. These days, I mostly handle minor medical issues and nutritional deficiencies for the people living here. I can't afford passage off of this moon. I've managed to stay out of debt, but I don't know how long that will last. This whole mining facility is nothing but strange. That Ferengi, Madron, rides everyone hard to make a profit. But just when it looks like things will get too bad, he turns around and does something generous. Folks have occasionally disappeared, and not by leaving on a ship. People here for weeks or months will suddenly vanish. People talk about seeing strange things, or being kept out of parts of the mine by the guards. There's something deeper in those mines. I'm sure of it.
My life is unimportant. It's my brother. I can't find him. I last saw him 2 days ago. Madron assigned both of us to work in the upper levels of the mine. Toshin's drill bit broke, and he needed a new one. I know I should have gone with him. It's not safe to be in the mine alone. Now he's gone. There's a group of people down there who treat the mine like it's their own. I don't know why Madryn tolerates them, but they make life miserable for the rest of us. They steal and terrorize the weak. I once saw them dragging a woman to the lower levels, and I never saw her again. She wasn't the only one. Many people have disappeared. I thought if my brother and I kept our heads down that we would be safe, but maybe they took him. Murderers. Murderers. If they killed my brother, I'll kill them all! If you go into the mine, watch for the silver spheres. There are creatures in the dark. Devils. They're made of stone. Nothing can hurt them, and their touch burns. I have seen them moving around in the tunnels. Anywhere you see the silver spheres, the monsters are not far away.
Oh, my family and I have been here all our lives. It's a hard life, but it's all I know. My mother used to tell me tales of the home world. She'd talk about the plazas in Rateg or vacations she spent with her father on the shores of the Apnic Sea. And she would tell me about my father, who gave up his place in the military evacuation ship so she could live. He never knew he had a child. She would tell me these stories, and later, when she thought I was asleep, she would cry. He charges us too much and pays too little. He's like everyone else in this world, out for himself. But he doesn't let us starve. And if a child needs medicine, they get it. Many here grumble and hate him, but I cannot. If I were in his position and his life was in my hands, can I say that I would act any differently than he does? Stay in the settlement. Don't go down into the mine, and whatever you do, don't leave this area. I do not wish you harm, stranger, and there are many dangers here. There is a group. They rule the mine, and they are dangerous. Even Madryn fears them. If you avoid them, they will ignore you. Now defy them, and they will turn on you. Last week, a good man died because he would not give them what they wanted. He was not the first. There are many monsters on this moon that you would be wise to avoid. Outside of the settlement, there are packs of wild animals. If you take a warrigal from its mother when it's very young, it can be tamed. If you wait too long, they are savage. The packs of wild warrigal roam the edges of our settlement. Often they prowl the refuse piles, looking for scraps of food. A pack of warrigal can kill even a strong man. You must be careful when you are in their territory. And they are not the only monsters here. The miners tell stories about creatures made of stone who can burn you to cinders. I have not seen one of these creatures myself, but I know that many people who enter the mine do not leave it. You're the first outsider I've seen in a long time. Well, there's no reason for anyone to want to come here.
What can I say? We exist. I mine because there's nothing but rocks on this forsaken planet. If I'm lucky, I dig enough ore to make my quota and Modron pays me. If he pays me, I can eat and have a warm place to sleep. If we don't make our quotas, there's nothing. Even if I do have latinum, most of it goes to Modron to pay my debts, and the rest he takes in exchange for the supplies he imports. I would leave, but I owe too much to Modron to ever earn enough to buy my passage off this place. Besides, where would I go? Every morning, the first thing I do when I wake is curse that Ferengi's name. Modron found this moon about 2 years after the destruction of the homeworld. Most of our equipment was broken or useless, the supplies were gone, and we were starving. After some negotiations, Modron had his contract and we had food. We're supposed to be working with him, but he's the only one who benefits from our labor. Modron owns the only working ship here, so no supplies come in without him. He negotiates all of the ore contracts, so most of the latinum goes into his pocket. And he sets the prices for food, medicine, and equipment, so everyone here owes him more than we can ever repay. He owns us now. I hate him for that, but I can't live without him. The Empire? What Empire? Our empire turned to dust with the loss of the homeworld. If you're rich or in the military, then maybe there's something. I hear the people in Seela's shining city and the Rator system live quite well, as long as they obey her commands. For the rest of us, there's nothing but dust and regret. I have heard this, but I have not seen that it is true. Are you going to go to every Romulan on every world and hand them bread? Because that is the only way you can help all of us. The strong take from the weak. Seela and her ships are strong. The Tal Shiar is strong. Your aid goes to fill their bellies and heal their wounds, Starfleet, not mine.
On behalf of everyone on this forsaken rock, let me be the first to welcome you to Hathara. As you can see, we don't have time for pleasantries. And I'm not sharing my Tranya stash with you. So, why don't we skip the chit-chat and get down to business? Unfortunately, I cannot call this mine my own. I'm just a middleman. Out of the goodness of my heart, I help the residents here pass on the products of their hard work to commercial entities such as yourself. The minuscule transaction fee and trade tariff I keep to offset my expenses is figured into the unit cost of the ore. My operation has become one of the best in the area because of the high demand for my services from both sides. I provide the best mining equipment and supplies in the sector to the miners, while my customers get competitive pricing on the ore they need. I don't pay much attention to that. Miners have empty carts and they return with ones filled with ore. If you're that interested, you could visit the mines themselves, but I don't recommend it. It's such a dirty, disagreeable business, and I'm convinced that breathing ore dust for too long is terrible for you. The miners who live near my quarters used to keep me up night after night with their dreadful coughing. I had to install soundproofing just to get some sleep. Are you sure you wouldn't rather look at the ore I have for sale? Really? Suit yourself. Just remember, I have an exclusive contract to export magnesite ore from this moon. If you try to cut me out of your deals, you'll regret it.
I'm sorry. I really can't talk at the moment. I have to finish a survey of the area so the miners can start work on a new mine shaft. As much as I'd appreciate someone else to lug around this heavy equipment, it's all very delicate, and I'd only trust a capable scientist to help me. I've marked some coordinates on your map. Please go there, scan the soil content, and report back to me. Thank you so much for your help. This information will be incredibly useful when we're ready to tap a new vein of ore. To answer your question, I'm not sure what makes this mine special. I haven't had much chance to explore the whole thing, though. My shuttle broke down in the system 6 weeks ago. Madryn was happy to pick me up, but he's holding my shuttle until I've worked out the costs of the repairs. God, I can't wait to get off this rock. I have seen some strange people in the lower levels of the mine. I tried to do a survey down there once, but they wouldn't let me pass. Perhaps you should look there. Thank you so much for...
You want to go in the mine? Are you really interested in buying any magnesite? Or are you just here to cause trouble? Because if it's the latter, I know someplace you can start a little ruckus. There's a gang that controls the bottom levels of the mine. They won't even let me in there. Previously, I allowed them to keep their little kingdom in exchange for information. But lately, they've been more trouble than they're worth. And the intel they're feeding me is useless. Honestly, who doesn't know about the Breen invasion of the fairy space? You want to go in the...
What do you want? This area is restricted. Only people my friends and I like may enter. And I don't like you! Martin, that big-head money grabber doesn't know the first thing about what really happens here. All he does is collect his latinum and make the miners miserable. Oh, it's information you want. Allow me to provide a free sample. Leave right now. Otherwise, well, there's a lot of ways to get injured in a mine. It would be a shame if something happened to you, and the magnesite prevented your crew from beaming you back to your ship in time. You don't belong here, and I'm done talking with you. Leave now, or suffer the consequences.
Personal shield losing power. Enemy targets on sensors. Personal shield losing power.
I give the orders here, Commander. You are out of line.
With all due respect, sir, there is a difference between protecting the Empire from her enemies and provoking
There
them.
is much here you do not understand, Janek. The Remans need to know their place. As do you. I will not forget your insubordination, Commander. The Tal Shiar has no place for officers who cannot follow orders. I'll be in the command center.
Colonel, they were civilians! Their blood is on our hands!
Get used to it. There will be more. Speaking of which, why don't you clean out the brig before you become a resident there?
I almost feel sorry for you, but I have my own neck to worry about. I'll be joining you in there soon enough. If Hakiv has his way, we all will. Enough! I surrender. I value my life more than the Tal Shiar's secrets. I'll tell you anything you want to know. But first, you must tell me why you are here and what you want. The Remans know about this base? Impossible! Only the leadership of the Tal Shiar know we're here. The Empress herself couldn't find us. I don't believe you, but it makes no difference. This is not a military installation. We listen and record here. Nothing more. There are many targets that those Reman scum would find much more tempting. Colonel Hakiv will want my blood for this, but... Take my security code. You can use it to access the control room. You'll find everything you're looking for there. You have what you need.
How did you find this place? What else do you know? No matter. You won't be revealing anything to your superiors. It's disappointing I cannot give you a proper interrogation, but I have much to do and little time. The self-destruct sequence has begun. This base will be your tomb.
mine? What have you done to my mine? Tal Shiar? I'm shocked. I had no idea. I certainly wouldn't have sent you down there if you... Say, you didn't happen to find anything valuable down there, did you? Because if you did, remember, I have an exclusive contract. And what's it to you? This is a rough area of the Quadrant, you know, and they're good neighbors. If you're not easily embarrassed. Their cameras and listening devices are everywhere. I haven't had a single problem with Orions or Herodians since they moved in. And it doesn't hurt that I acquired the odd bit of information here and there. I'm a businessman, and information is big business. Unfortunately, no. I'll admit, I was trying to find out, but their systems were locked down tight. I'm sure whatever it was had to be big news. Everyone was on edge. Janek and Hakiv were barely speaking, and I once heard Hakiv mumbling something about orders. Someone's been pulling his strings, but I don't know who. I do know that Tal Shiar takes security very seriously. If you manage to pull any files from their system, you can expect them to be heavily encoded. Trust me on that. I speak from experience. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go talk 100 Romulans into digging a new mine to replace the one you destroyed. My profit margin for this month is ruined.
The Tal Shiar records you recovered showed that Hakiv and his forces have been targeting the Remans for months. Obasek and his followers have been driven from their homes, had their ships destroyed, and their loved ones killed or imprisoned. Some might say that Obasek's campaign against the Tal Shiar is just. However, Obasek was planning on using Thalaron weapons in the Fahar system, which would have killed hundreds of innocent civilians, as well as the Tal Shiar cell there. This is the problem with revenge. Violence and fury only create more pain and suffering.
I have new missions for you. You may have heard about the tragedy at Khitomer. Empress Sela attempted to disrupt the conference with a bomb, resulting in the death of Commander Tamer. Now, Sela is offering a political reconciliation with the Federation, despite the fact that we have allied with the Romulan Republic. She has invited Federation diplomats to meet with her delegation at a secure base on the edge of the neutral zone. However, we have recently received intelligence that Sela is amassing a fleet. We are sending you with the peace delegation as cover for your investigation into Sela's activities. This is a very delicate situation. You must try to covertly obtain information about Sela's plans without disrupting our peace efforts or upsetting Sela. However, we do have an agent in her retinue who will help you.
Greetings and welcome to Agrama. I am pleased that Starfleet sent such a notable officer as its representative at this conference. Please enter a standard orbit and transport down to these coordinates. This meeting may mark the beginning of a new day for the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire.
The rest of the delegates are already in the conference room. My aide, Jevem, will take you there. I have some business to attend to before we begin.
It is agreeable to meet with you. You have my people's enduring gratitude for how you handled that matter with Ambassador Soketh. This is another trying time for Vulcan. The Romulan Star Empire blames the Vulcan Science Academy for the Hobus supernova that destroyed their world. They are utterly intransigent in this misguided belief, despite the fact that Ambassador Spock warned them of the danger and ultimately gave his life to stop the loss of even more worlds. Romulans are a most illogical people. Sometimes I find it hard to believe we were once a single species.
Welcome to Agrama. Isn't this a lovely facility? You must tour the atrium later. Hard to believe this system was infested by Orion pirates not long ago. You know, some of my colleagues were against this meeting, but I lobbied for it. I said the entire Federation cannot be as blind as the people who were at the farce at Kittimer. If you just see the problems the Romulan Republic are causing, I'm sure you can persuade your government to reconsider their rash choice and sever their agreements with these rebels.
I am so pleased to see the Federation recognize and attempt to rectify its past mistakes. I knew that a people as clever as yours would realize eventually that it is folly to antagonize the Romulan Star Empire. I am also confident it will only be a matter of time before you realize that you have made a grievous error by allying yourselves with terrorists, scoundrels, and thieves. The sooner you renounce your poorly considered alliance with the so-called Romulan Republic, the sooner we will be able to come to a mutually beneficial arrangement.
The Romulans can be so difficult to deal with, especially these Imperials. They are forever setting traps, twisting words, and jockeying for advantage. Even a conference with the Klingons would be preferable. At least you know where you stand with Klingons. I'm reminded of a line I read once in an ancient Earth text. Hide a knife behind a smile. Every smile here hides a knife.
I thought the Federation's alliance with the Romulan Republic would be the end of any meaningful dialogues with Empress Sela. After all, she considers the Republic to be a terrorist organization. She may have an ulterior motive for inviting us here, but we had to take the chance that Sila's offer to negotiate is sincere and act in kind. The Federation must pursue every avenue for peace.
We are so pleased that you were able to attend our conference. The Empire was quite dismayed at your decision to support the terrorist insurgents rather than the rightful government of the Romulan people. So much for your vaunted prime directive. In any case, neither of us benefit from extended conflict. So, despite your questionable alliances, we are choosing to open negotiations in hopes of normalizing relations between the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire.
I apologize. Franklin Drake says you can be trusted, and that is enough for me. There's more going on here than a diplomatic conference. Sela has no interest in courting the Federation. So why is she suddenly doing so now? We're going to find out what she's up to. The lower level of this facility is off limits to everyone but the Empress and her aides. But that access hatch right over there opens up to a maintenance tunnel that leads down. The doorway is guarded, so while I distract the guards, you sneak through the door. The hatch is just ahead in the northeast corner of the room. There will be a security room near the exit of the maintenance tunnel on the level below us. Access one of the consoles there. Maybe you'll learn more about what she's doing. I need to get back to the reception before I'm missed. But I should be able to cover your absence for a few minutes. More than that, and you're on your own.
Empress, the fleet is on its way to Vulcan.
Excellent. Have the weapons loaded aboard my ship. I will depart as soon as they are on board. At last, we will have our revenge for the destruction of Romulus. Hail Hakiv and put him through to my personal terminal. Then leave me. I have matters to attend to.
Yes, Empress.
Computer, begin playback of file 2895 Gamma.
After I left Starfleet, I made it my life's work to reunite the Romulans with their Vulcan brothers. For many years, I lived among them and waged a campaign of peace. 21 years ago, the star of the Hobus system went supernova and sent a wave of devastation across the quadrant. I promised to save the Romulan homeworld. I failed.
Computer, end file. I cannot suffer more of that arrogant fool. Soon Vulcan will suffer the same fate as my world.
I have Hakiv, Empress.
Patch him through.
Greetings, Empress.
My fleet has launched for Vulcan. I expect you to rendezvous with us there.
Alas, I must disappoint you. The terrorist cells of the Romulan Republic demand my full attention. Kittimer did not go as planned. Now they have powerful allies. And with Taurus missing...
Spare me your excuses, Hakiv. Nothing is more important than avenging the destruction of our homeworld. You disappoint me, Hakiv. I trust you will not do so again.
I should have known the Federation would send spies instead of diplomats. And you call us treacherous. No matter. You may have destroyed these weapons, but my fleet is already en route to Vulcan. You cannot stop what has begun. Guards! Capture the intruders!
Enemy targets on sensors.
Whatever you did down there, it made quite an impression. Good work on disabling the transport inhibitor. Your ambassadors are safely back on their ships, but I had to blow my cover to get them there. Now it's time for me to get out while I still can. Farewell.
Thank you for rescuing us.
I would not have believed anyone capable of this treachery, even Sela.
I thought we'd never be free of that blasted field. I'm gonna recommend you get a commendation.
Target shield has failed.
I had not expected to hear from you so soon. Was your mission successful? I should have expected as much. You cannot trust them. I never do. I am contacting all available ships. We will meet you there. Thanks to your warning, we were able to divert some ships to defend Vulcan. I have come to personally command the defense. The other forces have already been briefed. Your role in this battle will be to defend the science vessels that have set up a tachyon detection grid to detect any cloaked Romulan ships. We cannot allow any enemy ships to slip through. The ships maintaining the grid will be priority targets for the Romulans, but they must remain in position or the grid will collapse. That is why I need you to protect them.
How can you fight what you cannot see? Surrender now, and I may give you a merciful death.
Our tachyon detection grid has revealed scout ships attempting to penetrate the perimeter.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Your attempts to interfere are meaningless. Vulcan must pay for its crimes. You cannot oppose the will of the Romulan people. We are eternal. All forces, advance and destroy them.
Sela has launched her assault. Science vessels, maintain formation. All other forces converge on the Romulan fleet.
Target shield has failed.
Reinforcements are en route. Hold the line.
I'll follow your lead.
Target shields have failed.
You may have won this day, but the fight will continue. Romulus will be avenged. There will be blood for blood, death for death. My world is gone. I will not rest until Vulcan suffers the same fate. Indeed. Then why does Starfleet use ships equipped with weapons of mass destruction? Why did the Vulcan Science Council willfully refuse to assist us when there was a chance to save our world? Every sorrow in my life can be laid at the feet of the Federation.
I have new missions for you.